Took advantage of all of my opportunities. Going into the game, I knew there was going to be a lot of bracket on Malik and BT, so I just had to take that next step and be the guy.
At the time this video was recorded, Kyren Lacy was a hotshot football star with a very promising career ahead of him. But his life took a tragic turn in a way no one could have ever seen coming. It all began with a case of reckless driving that soon escalated into a homicide charge and an eventual suicide. In this video, I'm going to take you through the final hours of Kyren Lacy's life and the incident that pushed him to the breaking point. A promising career cut short. Kyren Lacy was born on December 27, 2000 in Thibodaux, Louisiana. From an early age, he showed exceptional talent on the football field. During his senior year at Thibodaux High School, he recorded 54 receptions for 864 yards and 18 touchdowns, establishing himself as one of the state's top talents. Ranked as the 10th best wide receiver in Louisiana for the 2020 class, Lacy earned a 3-star recruit rating and committed to the University of Louisiana at Lafayette to begin his college football journey. His college career started strong at Louisiana Lafayette, where he made an immediate impact as a freshman in 2020. During his first season, he played in 11 games, recording 28 receptions for 364 yards and 4 touchdowns. The following year, in 2021, he continued to perform well with 22 receptions for 304 yards and 6 touchdowns across 13 games. His performance earned him recognition, including being named to the 2021 Athlon Sports Sun Belt preseason 4th-team offense. After 2 successful seasons with the Reagan Cajuns, Lacy made a significant career move by transferring to LSU in 2022, stepping up to compete in the Southeastern Conference, one of college football's most prestigious and competitive divisions. The transfer to LSU represented a major opportunity for Lacy to showcase his talents on a bigger stage and potentially improve his NFL prospects. At LSU, Lacy continued to develop his skills and make contributions to the team. In 2022, he played in 14 games, starting 2 of them, and recorded 24 receptions for 268 yards. While these numbers weren't eye-popping, they showed his ability to compete at the SEC level. The 2023 season saw Lacy become more integrated into the LSU offense with several standout performances. Notable games included a 4-reception, 111-yard performance with a touchdown against Auburn, and a 5-reception, 101-yard showing against Georgia State. These 100-yard games demonstrated his big playability and potential as a deep threat. It was in the 2024 season that Lacy truly came into his own as a key contributor for the Tigers. He led the team with 9 touchdown receptions while racking up 58 catches for 866 yards over 12 games. This productive season included multiple 100-yard receiving games, such as 5 receptions for 111 yards against Ole Miss, 5 for 107 yards against South Alabama, and 5 for 106 yards at Texas A&M. His consistent performance earned him recognition as a second-team All-SEC selection by the Associated Press. In December 2024, Lacy graduated from LSU with a degree in sport administration, capping his academic career while preparing for his next step in football. Following his impressive senior season, Lacy declared for the 2025 NFL Draft, ready to pursue his dream of playing professional football. In preparation for the draft, Lacy participated in LSU's Pro Day in March 2025, showcasing his skills for NFL scouts. While draft projections varied, he was generally considered a mid-round prospect, with some analysts suggesting he could be selected in the late 2nd or early 3rd round. His combination of size, speed, and production at the college level made him an intriguing option for NFL teams looking to add receiving talent. However, it's important to note that Lacy's draft stock was complicated by legal issues stemming from a December 2024 incident, which we'll discuss in detail shortly. These legal challenges created uncertainty about his draft status, with some fans and analysts debating whether they would significantly impact his selection. From a football perspective, Lacy's career trajectory showed a player who had steadily improved throughout his college years, culminating in a breakout senior season that positioned him for an NFL opportunity. His journey from Thibodaux High School to Louisiana Lafayette and then to LSU demonstrated his ability to compete and succeed at increasingly higher levels of competition. Teammates and coaches often spoke highly of Lacy's work ethic and talent. Following his death, these sentiments were echoed in tributes from those who knew him. The LSU Athletics Department released a statement saying, "We're saddened to learn of the tragic passing of former LSU football student-athlete Kyren Lacy. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family and loved ones, as well as his former teammates and coaches impacted by his passing," highlighting the impact he had on the program. University of Louisiana head coach Michael Desormeaux also expressed his grief, posting, "Hard to ever find the right words to say. I don't think that there are right words. Please join me in praying for all of Kyren's former teammates and family members who are mourning his loss. A lot of our guys are hurting today," underscoring the connections Lacy maintained with his former team. Rontrell Sandolph, a friend of Lacy's, shared a particularly poignant message on Instagram. I'm so lost for words, I'm speechless. I went to sleep 4 times and woke up to see if that was a dream. All the talks, all the tears, everything, you know God had us. The dreams we had started to kick in, you making it to the NFL and me playing ball overseas. Our dreams were coming to reality, revealing the personal aspirations and friendship that were cut short. NFL players also pay tribute to Lacy, with stars like Russell Wilson and Jamar Chase sharing emotional messages, along with former teammates Jaden Daniels and Amik Robertson. These tributes from across the football community highlighted Lacy's impact both on and off the field, painting a picture of a young athlete who had earned respect and formed meaningful connections throughout his career. But as the tributes and memories of Lacy's athletic achievements poured in, they were accompanied by discussions of the troubled final months of his life. The promising career we've outlined was suddenly complicated on December 17, 2024, when Lacy was involved in a fatal car accident in Lafourche Parish, Louisiana, an event that would dramatically alter the course of his life and ultimately contribute to its tragic end. In the midst of preparing for the NFL draft and what should have been the beginning of an exciting new chapter in his career, Lacy found himself facing serious legal charges and mounting personal pressures. The fatal accident and its aftermath. On December 17, 2024, just 10 days before his 24th birthday, Kyren Lacy was involved in a fatal car accident in Lafourche Parish, Louisiana, that would dramatically alter the trajectory of his life. The incident occurred while Lacy was driving a 2023 Dodge Charger on Louisiana Highway 20. According to reports, Lacy was allegedly driving recklessly, speeding and passing multiple vehicles by crossing the center line in a no-passing zone. This dangerous maneuver reportedly led to a serious collision involving 2 other vehicles, a 2017 Kia Cadenza and a 2017 Kia Sorento. The crash resulted in significant injuries to the drivers of both vehicles and, tragically, the death of 78-year-old Herman Hall, a Vietnam veteran who was a passenger in one of the vehicles. According to authorities, Hall was being transported to a hospital when the collision occurred, and he died as a result of injuries sustained in the crash. In the immediate aftermath of the accident, Lacy allegedly fled the scene without rendering aid to the injured parties or notifying authorities. This decision to leave the scene would later compound the legal troubles he faced, adding a hit-and-run charge to the already serious circumstances of causing a fatal accident. Hall wasn't merely a statistic in a car accident report. He was a father, grandfather, and Vietnam veteran whose death left a hole in his family and community. His daughter, Heather Dickerson, spoke fondly of him in interviews, highlighting his pride in serving his country and the cherished memories captured in family photos. Hall was remembered as a doting father and grandfather, and a beloved neighbor who was a friend to all who knew him. According to reports, Hall's family was initially told that someone high profile was involved in the accident, but wasn't immediately informed that it was Kyren Lacy. They expressed a desire for justice while emphasizing that they didn't want any special treatment for Lacy due to his status as a football player. The loss of Herman Hall is a crucial part of this story, a reminder of the real human impact that resulted from the events of that December day. Following the accident, it took several weeks for legal proceedings to begin against Lacy. On January 12, 2025, nearly a month after the accident, Lacy turned himself into authorities. He was booked into the Lafourche Parish Correctional Complex and charged with negligent homicide, felony hit and run with death, and reckless operation of a vehicle. These charges collectively carried significant potential penalties, with some reports indicating he could have faced up to 15 years in prison if convicted. Despite the serious nature of the charges, Lacy was released on $151,000 bail less than 2 hours after turning himself in. This quick release on bail allowed him to continue with his football and pre-draft preparations while awaiting further legal proceedings. A grand jury was scheduled to begin hearing evidence in the case on April 14, 2025, a date that Lacy would never live to see. Throughout this legal process, Lacy was represented by attorney Matthew Ory, who maintained his client's innocence regarding the cause of the accident. Ory stated, "We are very confident the evidence, after being fully collected and reviewed, would lead to a declination of charges," suggesting that they believed Lacy would ultimately be cleared of responsibility. According to Ory's account, Lacy's vehicle did not directly cause the collision. The attorney claimed that the accident occurred when another vehicle crossed the center line, contradicting the police report that attributed the crash to Lacy's reckless driving. Ory also mentioned demanding a full and transparent review of the investigation, indicating that the defense was preparing to challenge the official narrative of what happened that day. The legal situation created significant uncertainty for Lacy as he prepared for the NFL draft. While his on-field performance during the 2024 season and his showing at LSU's Pro Day in March 2025 had positioned him as a potential mid-round selection, the pending criminal charges complicated his draft prospects. NFL teams are often wary of selecting players with ongoing legal issues, particularly those involving serious allegations like negligent homicide. Fan reactions to Lacy's legal situation were mixed and often heated. In online forums like Reddit, opinions ranged widely. Some expressed sympathy for a young man who had made a terrible mistake, while others were harshly critical of his actions, particularly his decision to flee the scene of the accident. Comments on platforms like r_urinating_tree and RNFL reflected this divide, with some users calling him a coward for leaving the scene after causing a fatal accident, while others urged compassion. The debate about Lacy's draft status also played out online, with some disputes about whether he was truly a potential first-round pick or more likely a late second or early third-round prospect. These discussions often centered on how his legal issues might impact his selection, with many fans speculating that teams would hesitate to draft him until his case was resolved. As the months passed between the accident in December 2024 and the scheduled grand jury hearing in April 2025, Lacy continued to prepare for the NFL draft while dealing with the legal cloud hanging over him. This period must have been immensely stressful, combining the ordinary pressures of draft preparation with the extraordinary burden of facing criminal charges, and the knowledge that his actions had resulted in someone's death. The timing of the grand jury hearing, scheduled for April 14, 2025, is particularly significant in understanding the final days of Lacy's life. With the 2025 NFL draft approaching later that month, the outcome of this hearing would have had immediate implications for his draft prospects and his future. The proximity of these events suggests that Lacy was facing a critical juncture in both his legal situation and his football career. It's also worth noting the personal toll that these events likely took on Lacy. While public statements from Lacy himself during this period are limited in the available sources, the stress of facing serious criminal charges, potentially significant prison time, and the possible derailment of a promising career would have placed enormous pressure on a 24-year-old athlete. This context is crucial for understanding the events that unfolded on April 13, 2025, just one day before the scheduled grand jury hearing. As we'll explore in the final section of this video, the timing suggests that the impending legal proceedings may have been a significant factor in Lacy's state of mind during his final hours. The case of Kyren Lacy raises important questions about accountability, justice, and the pressures faced by young athletes. The fatal accident on December 17, 2024, created a tragic connection between Lacy and Herman Hall, two individuals who might never have otherwise crossed paths. For Hall's family, the accident resulted in the irreplaceable loss of a beloved father and grandfather. For Lacy, it set in motion a series of events that would culminate in his own death less than 4 months later. The final hours and lasting legacy. The timing of his death, so close to this critical legal proceeding, has led many to speculate about the connection between the pending charges and his mental state during his final hours. According to multiple reports, the sequence of events began around 11:15 p.m. on April 12, 2025, with a family disturbance at a residence in Houston, Texas. A family member reported that Lacy had been involved in a verbal argument, which escalated to the point where he allegedly pulled out a gun and fired it into the ground before fleeing the scene. Approximately 30 minutes later, at around 11:45 p.m., a constable spotted Lacy driving and attempted to initiate a traffic stop. When Lacy refused to stop, a police chase ensued, lasting several miles through the Houston area. The pursuit ended when Lacy crashed his vehicle. When law enforcement officers approached the crashed vehicle, they discovered Lacy deceased inside. According to preliminary investigations by the Harris County Sheriff's Office, Lacy appears to have died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, with officers recovering a handgun from the vehicle. Investigators believe that he shot himself before the crash occurred, suggesting that the crash itself was a result of him losing control of the vehicle after the self-inflicted wound, rather than being the primary cause of death. The official cause of death is still pending confirmation by the medical examiner, but multiple sources, including WBars.com, ESPN, and The Athletic, have reported the preliminary finding of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The timing of these events, occurring just hours before Lacy was scheduled to face a grand jury regarding the fatal car accident from December, has led to widespread speculation about his state of mind. While we cannot know with certainty what Lacy was thinking during those final hours, the proximity to this crucial legal proceeding suggests it may have been a significant factor in his distress. The news of Lacy's death sent shockwaves through the football community, prompting an outpouring of grief and tributes from teammates, coaches, and fans. LSU's athletics department released a statement expressing their sorrow. "We're saddened to learn of the tragic passing of former LSU football student athlete Kyren Lacy. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family and loved ones, as well as his former teammates teammates and coaches impacted by his passing. Tributes came from across the football world, including from NFL players like Russell Wilson and Jamar Chase, along with former teammates such as Jaden Daniels and Amik Robertson. These tributes highlighted Lacy's impact both on and off the field, painting a picture of a young man who had formed meaningful connections throughout his football career. Perhaps the most poignant response came from Lacy's father, Kyren Lacy, who used the tragedy as an opportunity to address the critical issue of mental health. In a social media post following his son's death, Kyren Lacy wrote, "Young parents, start talking to your kids at a very early age and make sure they are confident and comfortable confiding in you. Don't be cool with 'I'm all right' or 'I'm good' when you know deep down something isn't right. Mental health is real, and for the most part, it's invisible. Don't ignore the signs, even if they may seem small." He continued with a heartfelt message about the family's grief. "Our lives have changed forever, and this will never be okay. But God needed my baby more than he was needed here. This has to be the biggest pill our families have had to swallow, but I know the love and compassion in our families will get us through. This will never get easier, but we'll learn to live with it. Check on your kids, mental." This plea for mental health awareness from Kyren Lacy highlights an important aspect of this tragedy: the invisible struggles that many people, including successful athletes, may be facing privately. While we cannot know the full extent of Kyren Lacy's mental state in his final months and days, his father's message suggests that mental health concerns may have been a significant factor. The fact that Lacy's death occurred just one day before his scheduled grand jury hearing raises questions about the psychological impact of pending legal proceedings, especially in high-profile cases involving young individuals. The pressure of facing serious criminal charges, combined with the potential end of a promising football career, would have placed enormous stress on a 24-year-old athlete. This aspect of the story resonated with many fans and observers online. In discussions on platforms like Reddit, some users called for greater mental health awareness and resources, suggesting that better support systems might have prevented this tragedy. Comments such as, "If anyone has mental health issues, don't wait and call 988, reflect a growing recognition of the importance of mental health support, particularly in crisis situations. Fan opinions about Lacy and his actions were mixed, reflecting the complexity of his story. Some expressed sympathy for a young man who had made a terrible mistake and ultimately took his own life, while others focused more on the victim of the car accident, Herman Hall, and the lack of justice resulting from Lacy's death. These diverse reactions demonstrate how cases like this can provoke different emotional responses, depending on which aspect of the tragedy individuals choose to emphasize. It's worth noting that both perspectives have validity. This case involves two lives cut short under tragic circumstances. Herman Hall, at 78, lost his life in a car accident that allegedly resulted from reckless driving. Kyren Lacy, at 24, took his own life while facing legal consequences for that accident. Both deaths represent a loss for their respective families and communities. The case of Kyren Lacy raises important questions about responsibility, accountability, and mental health. While the legal system was in the process of determining Lacy's culpability for the car accident, his death before the grand jury hearing means that many questions will remain unanswered. His attorney, Matthew Ory, had maintained his innocence, stating, "We are very confident the evidence, after being fully collected and reviewed, would lead to a declination of charges, but the legal process was never completed." For Herman Hall's family, Lacy's death may have complicated their grief by denying them a sense of legal resolution. While no court verdict could bring back their loved one, the judicial process often provides families of victims with a sense that justice has been served and that the responsible party has been held accountable. Hall's family had expressed a desire for justice while emphasizing that they didn't want any special treatment for Lacy due to his status as a football player. With Lacy's death, the legal proceedings ended without a formal determination of responsibility. For Lacy's family, the grief of losing a son is compounded by the circumstances of his death and the questions about what might have been done differently to prevent this outcome. Kyren Lacy's focus on mental health awareness suggests a desire to find meaning in tragedy by helping others who might be facing similar struggles. The broader football community, including LSU and Lacy's former teammates, also faces the loss of a young athlete who had shown promise both on and off the field. University of Louisiana head coach Michael Desormeaux expressed this collective grief, posting, "Hard to ever find the right words to say. I don't think that there are right words. Please join me in praying for all of Kyren's former teammates and family members who are mourning his loss. A lot of our guys are hurting today." The death of Kyren Lacy at the age of 24 represents a talent cut short, a future unrealized. From his success at Thibodeau High School, to his contributions at Louisiana Lafayette and LSU, to his preparations for the NFL draft, Lacy had demonstrated the abilities and work ethic needed to succeed at the highest levels of football. While his actions indeed, December 2024 cannot be overlooked or excused. His tragic end serves as a reminder of the human complexity behind every headline. If you enjoyed this video, check out any of our other videos by clicking the cards on your screen.